Hey, family and friends, this is marriage and divorce coach Dr. Angel Cartagena with this week's edition of Tuesday Tips. Hey, wait a minute. It's Wednesday. Yes, I know, unfortunately, due to my traveling to celebrate my 40th class reunion at Yale this weekend and some other things that got on my calendar yesterday was just not okay for me to do anything live. I know someone suggested, well, you could have recorded something ahead of time. I prefer to do them live. And so count yourself lucky that you are getting the first edition of Tuesday Tips as Wednesday Wisdom. Okay, you get it? Still with the double letters. Yeah, anyway, so today, here's what the Lord has placed in my heart to talk about, and it is something that the Bible calls the root of bitterness. The root of bitterness. Look at what it says in Hebrews chapter 12. I'm going to read two verses, 14 and 15, and it says as follows: Pursue peace with everyone, as well as holiness, without which no one will see the Lord. See to it that no one falls short of the grace of God, and that no root of bitterness springs up to cause trouble and defile many. One of the universal experiences that everyone who goes through a divorce has is the experience of bitterness. It is an anger that you reserve for no one else. You are just totally like if feelings could kill, your ex or soon to be ex would be dead. And man, I've had clients who they've come in just furious, just angry, and bitterness is really the perfect word for it. And they feel justified in having those feelings, and I can't necessarily say that I disagree with them. You have some terrible stories, someone whose spouse cheated on them, sometimes with someone who they knew or someone who was quote unquote a friend. Um, one of the challenges that comes up in marriage is a wife will trust a husband, decide to put her career on hold to raise children, and then all of a sudden he decides he's got other plans and leaves her financially bereft, and she's got kids, and companies don't look favorably on people who have taken some time away from work. They somehow feel that if you have been a parent, a stay-at-home parent, that somehow your skills are diminished. You somehow are lesser than others, not as dedicated as one of the things they often do. And so those sorts of things, man, adultery, financial abandonment, the trust that you put in someone, and now they've decided they don't want to be married to you. Sometimes it's not adultery. Sometimes one day your spouse shows up and says, I don't want to be married to you, or you could be out of town and come back and they have left. They've gone. They've taken all their stuff and they've left you there, and you have no idea what's going on. And so those sorts of situations will often cause people to become so bitter, so angry, so enraged. They carry that rage on for years. And so if you are a Christian, I can't speak to others, but if you are a Christian, first of all, you are in sin because the Bible says that you should not let the root of bitterness spring. Now, if you can't let the root of bitterness spring, how do you prevent that from happening? Well, you got to prevent the bitterness to take root to begin with. You shouldn't allow it to happen. And so, as justified as you feel about being angry and all those sorts of things, let me tell you three reasons why. Let me give you three reasons other than the Bible telling you um, that you shouldn't allow the root of bitterness to spring forward and cause all sorts of wreak havoc. Let me give you three reasons why you shouldn't. First of all, your physical health. There are countless studies that have shown that your emotional state, when it is in any kind of negativity, will have physical effects on you. It will shorten your life. It leads to things like high blood pressure, heart issues. there are just all sorts of there's all sorts of harm that you can do to your body when you hold on to bad feelings. And so one of the reasons you should let go is for your own sake, for your own well-being. A second reason you need to let the root of bitterness go is because of relationships. Listen, when you are a bitter, angry person, that comes across. And it's harmful in two ways. One is that if you have any hope of ever being in a relationship, possibly even being married again, listen, you'll be able to hide it for a little bit, but at a certain point, it'll become evident that you are one angry, angry person. And so no one wants to be around that. But listen, not just your romantic relationships. At a certain point, friends don't want to have anything to do with you. Listen, folks like to be around positive people. They like to be around smiling people. They like to be around people who are going to lift them up. And one of the things, believe it or not, I posted on Facebook some of the pictures um, from my class reunion, and a friend gave me the nicest compliments. He said, "Angel, your kindness just emanates from these pictures." And let me just say, for the record, I still have days and times and situations when I struggle, but it made me feel so happy because I've worked on that part of my life. Like, I've given that part of my life to the Lord through prayer and the reading of word, and have just tried to be someone who you enjoy being around. It's not that I'm always going to be jovial or joking or whatever, man, but I just want, when you're in my presence, like, one of my goals is that you walk away feeling good about life, like we had a good time together. And so the opposite of that, of course, is that if you're bitter, I know I have one very dear friend who I love very much, but man, this person has not let their divorce go. And the divorce was like years ago. Like, their spouses moved on, they've got somebody, and they just constantly, constantly, constantly talk negative about that person. And by the way, let me just acknowledge that that other person that you're talking bad about, those things that you're saying, might possibly be true. They might possibly be true. But here's the one thing is, that's not on you. God said, listen, one of my favorite passages, this is the NIV version of this, comes out of Romans chapter 12, verse 18. I know it so well. In fact, this is one of the ones that has helped me over the years, and that's why I can say it without reading it. Here it is. As far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. As far as it depends, oh, no, no, no. Let me start. It says, as long as if it is possible, that's what it says. If it is possible, as long as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone else. Now, why is that verse powerful? Because it starts with, if it's possible. It recognizes that sometimes we can't be at peace with people. Like, you can't be at peace with someone who is negative, who is constantly bringing harm and damage to your life. You can't. Then it says, if it depends on you. In other words, if the relationship is not possible, let it not be because of you, because of anything that you've done. But if you can't have anything to do with them, um, you know, then that's okay. But let it not be because of you. And of course, there's the final part of it is live at peace with everyone. And so you can't do that if you are holding on to rage and anger and bitterness towards your spouse or your ex-spouse. That eventually is going to flow into your relationships. And I'm just warning you, people are not going to, no matter how nice people are, no matter how much they care about you, they just don't want to be around you. They're family members who I'd rather not be around them because they're negative. That's just the truth. So that's the second reason. So your physical health, your relationships, and finally, if you allow the root of bitterness to exist inside of you so that it comes forward, then you're in sin. You're in sin because the Bible tells you not to. And so, why is that important? Because God can't bless mess. God cannot bless your mess. God will not bless you when you are in sin, when you are in intentional sin. God will not bless you. God will not allow you to meet maybe that person who will be the love of your life. God will not allow you to have your finances be better because you have this sin in your life. And so what do we do about this? Well, turn to the Bible again. What does God say? God says, forgive. I need to remind you, in case you, especially if you're listening to this and you're like a baby Christian, forgiveness doesn't mean you have to be on good terms or be in relationship with someone. There's a difference between forgiveness on the one hand, reconciliation on the other. Forgiveness only takes one. God commands us to forgive, and it says, look, we should forgive others because he forgave us. One of the things that was nice about going back to my class reunion was there were people who were like, so let's see if I get this straight. You who were a serious party animal, wild man, all this kind of stuff, when you were here, you became a pastor. And so it gave me an opportunity to talk about what Christ has done for me and the fact that Christ died on the cross for the worst of sinners. Like I didn't do anything that was that bad when I was in college, but still I was a sinner and sinner quite a few years more after that. I didn't come to the Lord until I was 32. So what I'm saying is, you know, um, you must forgive because God commands it because he forgave us. But reconciliation is different. Reconciliation takes two people, and if the other person that you're trying to reconcile with doesn't want to, that's okay. In fact, let me read you another verse that comes out of the book of Titus just to give you peace about this. This is Titus chapter 3, starting at verse 10. It says, reject the device of man after a first and a second admonition, knowing that such a man is corrupt and sinful, he is self-condemned. In other words, if you try to have a relationship with someone and they're going to be hostile and they're going to be negative and they're going to be all those sorts of things, it's, warn them once, it says, then warn them a second time. After that, have nothing to do with them. They are self-condemned. In other words, they've chosen their path of condemnation. So, beloved, what I'm asking you to do is to reconsider. If you're still angry and bitter about your divorce, if you're still talking smack about your ex, let it go. Go to God and say, Father, take this from me. Take it from me so that I may be free to worship you and to receive blessing and to, Lord, be an example of forgiving others as you forgave me. I hope this helps. If you need more assistance, better assistance, longer assistance, whatever you need, just go to my website at drangelcartagena.com. And there's a portion of my webpage where you can send me a message and I'll connect with you. I do pre-marriage, marriage, and divorce counseling. And would love to help you through whatever the issue is. So have a fantastic rest of your week. And remember this, God loves you, and so do I.